Hello and welcome to tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. My name is Alexander Rybitsky, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore. You may just call me the Keeper. Tonight we continue our pulp horror mystery adventure through the world of the Cthulhu mythos. I am joined, as always, by my lovely cast of players from my friends here at Internet Remix. We have Split Guardian.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Sword.
Is that a bayonet?
That was...
It's a normal general sword from the Philippines.
Yeah, just for reference, chat, if you didn't hear it, Split just unsheathed a large knife. So one could say a small sword.
That's a sword.
Yeah.
It's almost a cutlass. In fact, hold on, if you really look at it,
Mm-hmm.
what would you all say?
That'll kill
Close
somebody.
enough.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
You know what? That would qualify as a sword for a hobbit, so I'm willing to allow it. Next up, we have Atwis.
Hi everyone, I've missed you. It's a hash brown kind of day, don't you think?
I hate it here. We have Upgraded Moon, also known as Jordan. Okay. We have Brother Brodingles Dingleberry.
Two thoughts, two things people should know. One, Split bought me a sword as a cane. It's a cane sword. And two, I've been being followed by Neon Genesis Evangelion for the past 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jordan, how much do I have to pay you to redo the entire Call of Cthulhu intro, but to the beat of Cruel Angel's Thesis?
Absolutely nothing, baby.
Gotcha. Good to know. As always, we are joined by the one and only Kristen Trzynski.
Hello.
Short and sweet. And last but never least, we have our ongoing special guest, the man with the plan, the master of the pipe, the I'm running out of things to say, Darby Cupid.
I'm going to do the weapon thing too. Here we go.
Nice.
Man is mightier than the sword.
Fucking incredible.
You didn't see how aggressively he was dribbling on a page just now.
It was impressive. I will fully admit it was an impressively rapid and fervent pen click. So good on you there, Darbles.
Not mightier than.
What is the pen not mightier than?
The gun.
The pen is mightier than the sword, but the gun trumps both.
The gun.
The gun.
The gun.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up, all of you. We're not letting last session's energy creep right back into this session.
Oh,
Man,
I've got bad
we're
news for
doing
you.
werewolf BS, man. We're already on the way.
Oh man.
Sorry,
All
That
right,
should be
well,
devastating.
we are resuming our playthrough of the legendary mystery adventure Masks of Nyarlathotep. When we last left our group, the Disaster Gang, as they have taken to calling themselves, they had split into two groups. One composed of Kit Sullivan, Sybil Cordova, and Sunil Pandey, going up north of London into the countryside to investigate werewolf rumors up in the village of Lesser Edale in Derbyshire. I mean, okay. While Mason Tarrant and James O'Connell stayed behind in London to do a little extra snooping and figuring out of anything that might help them. Tarrant gained admittance to the Penhew Foundation's library, where he is spending time looking for anything that might be of interest. Mason was keeping an eye on the place, noticed a few interesting things. Noticed a truck showing up in like the kind of like early middling evening at the back of the establishment, labeled Ferris and Sons, where a couple of men got out and loaded a crate from the Penhew Foundation into the truck before driving off. In addition, when Mason went to go kind of like survey the back alley behind the foundation, and looking into the back kind of like rear yard entrance, noticed an air intake pipe coming off of the roof that, based on what he could factor about the building and its positioning, signaled that there must be some secret room in the Penhew Foundation that needs a air cycle being sent to it and does not have immediately easy access to general airflow. So logically, he decided to throw a potato in it. Yep, Mason Allen, in the dark of night, obtained 3 potatoes and threw them at the building. The first one missed by a mile. The second one shattered through a first floor window. And the third one went thunk right into the pipe. Oh, that wasn't good. Hold on, we'll do it again. Thunk, right into the pipe. Yeah, you gotta get like the throat in there. It's like, oh. Yeah, there you go. So right in the pipe before peeling the fuck out, no pun intended, with Tarrant to get out of Dodge as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, James was traipsing about the seedier areas of London, trying to dig up as much information on various topics related to the Penhew Foundation, the Blue Pyramid Club, really anything that they had come across thus far. Found some light information that was tossed about here and there, but on his return through the dark streets of Whitechapel, had 2 individuals, a man and a woman, kind of escort him into an alleyway where they tried to teach him a lesson. James pulling out a shotgun, which I'm just gonna say this on the record, I need to be a lot stricter about carrying large weapons in public, so I just need to be addressed as going forward. There will be no retcons happening here on this day, but going forward, if you're just carrying a loaded shotgun around, we need to establish that previously. It was really cool though. He blew off one of their legs, scared the other one away, and we left James with a wounded cultist that was bleeding out that he saved the life of, as the constables rushed in to intervene. And that, I believe, is where we left off. But we're going to start, I think, first, outside of the smog of London. We're going to return back to the village and environs of Lesser Edale. Let's get some music going. We'll just have this be the, I think the general kind of low-key ambient vibe right now is appropriate. But I'm also going to add a little extra zhuzh for the zazz, which is going to be in the way of some rain to go in the background as well.
Ooh, I like that.
Hell yeah.
Wait. Oh, thank you, roll 20. Okay, I was gonna cry.
Yeah.
I didn't
The
even
rain ambiance for Bro Dingles.
So, to recap what has happened since you arrived in Lesser Edale a few hours ago, or I should say in the area as of recently. taking a train from London all the way up to the city or town, I guess you could say, of Derby. No, not our Derby. And then a separate train to Edale, and then a several, like a 5-mile walk to the village of Lesser Edale in the English countryside, as the dark clouds overhead gradually gave way to a small sprinkle of rain that continued to grow heavier as you progressed. In the village, you found the Laughing Horse Tavern, a local watering hole that seems to be popular with the locals. Spoke with various regulars there, who kind of told you the deal of the three of the murders, I should say the 2 murders that happened 3 months ago thereabout. One, George Osgood and Lydia Parkins, having been brutally torn apart and murdered by some beast. You heard the locals talk about howling at the full moon, and a great beast with glowing eyes stalking the hills and countryside, that kind of thing. You also heard that a 3rd victim was attacked but survived, another gentleman by the name of Harold Short. And among the other rumors, you heard that let's see. Someone mentioned that the local vicar, Jeremy Stratton, had actually caught a glimpse of the beast one night, and that the matter has been kind of considered resolved by some people after the local Constable Tumwell, shot and killed a dog out there in the hills following the murders. And that seems to be that, but some folks are not so easily convinced. So we ended with you guys standing in the tap room of the Laughing Horse, having spoken with the locals to plot your next steps here in the village of Lesser Edale.
Okay. Well, seems to me that we have a person who claims to have seen the thing, and someone who was attacked by it, and then some relatives.
It was also mentioned, just making sure that everything's on the table. There's also the matter of, I believe the general store as well. That's also on the table as just a stop that we might need to make at some point. Just keeping track.
True!
I guess the question becomes, how do I want to approach?
Well, it might be better to start with, not, Harold Short. If we are going to be asking around, I can't imagine that 3 out-of-towners knocking on a local's doors would be much appreciated, especially bringing up, business like that. I mean, it might be a good idea to start with either the constable or the vicar.
I feel as though if we speak to the constable first, that might give us a little bit more of a basis of, what has happened, or at least what's on record, because we all know that's different.
Makes sense to me.
Seems like the way to go about it. Maybe if we stop at the general store, we can, pick up a gift, something to grease the wheels for anyone who we may speak to.
That was also a consideration, yeah. I don't know. It just feels correct not to just show up with nothing to offer.
True, and who knows, there might be some other people willing to talk to us there, so why not?
Well, I always like shopping, so I guess I'll start with the general store and pick up some goodies and go talk to the police, something which always works out really well for us.
I don't know, I mean, we have a pretty good track record, all things considered.
I mean, in America.
And
I was
and
gonna
Peru.
Yeah, but
Well,
like, I'm just saying that here hasn't gone great thus far, so I'm not sure how confident I feel.
Well, none of us look like cowboys, so I think we should be fine.
God, are you sure? Yeehaw and all that. Anyway.
I think I'm very cowboy-esque.
Sure you are, Sybil.
Yeehaw!
Incredible.
Oh my god.
Stepping outside of the Laughing Horse Tower, the tavern, not tower, back into the rain, which has just turned into like a veritable downpour now. You can see like just across the street, like a little bit up the road to the north, there is, you kind of like see like the rickety wooden sign, kind of being battered around in like the rain and wind that just says Pitchlock General Store. Cresting over the roof of that building, you can already kind of make out the stone chapel spire of the local church. And then as a lightning peels across the sky in the distance, you see like in the flash of light, just kind of like northeast of a village on a hill overlooking the village is like a tall castle-like building that just kind of like with some lights in its windows that sits ominously over the village. We've stepped into a Nancy Drew story.
So no matter what we do, we're going to the castle, right? Sybil says as she pulls out an umbrella.
How many? I mean, it's not like castles are uncommon around here.
A castle
right?
is a castle. If you see a castle, you go to the castle, especially... What, do you think the werewolves live in the castle?
Well, let's ask who owns the castle before we go knocking on the gates, door, whatever.
Fine.
So, where to?
I believe the plan was the general store first.
Yeah. Kind of just moving with quick purpose in the rain. You just kind of go up the road a little bit to the exterior of the general store. Pushing your way inside, a little bell hangs over the door that rings as you enter, kind of let in a little bit of rain that drips into the welcome mat. Very basic, kind of like, store you kind of like look around. There are shelves of, groceries, tools, stacks of newspapers, provisions, probably for the more touristy types of folk. And there are two individuals here, a man and a woman, both just kind of like humble, simple-looking country folk. Very warmly flash smiles as you enter. The man says, "All right, come on in," and just kind of like welcomes you guys. And kind of like walks out from around the counter, like wiping his hands clean from like whatever kind of like he was handling, kind of like sits down and immediately kind of comes up, offers like shake hands, and just goes, "John Pitchlock, owner of the store. There's my wife Alice," and she just kind of goes, "Hello," just from that counter. And John just kind of goes, "What might you folks be needing help with? I would say an umbrella, but looks like you're covered there."
I mean, you should at least... If there are clouds, then bring an umbrella, right? Just in case.
Right you are, miss. Right you are. And then you see that Alice from behind the counter goes, "Oh, from America. How fancy." She's just kind of like, "Ooh."
I mean, to me, you all seem fancy, so,
Well, that's very kind of you, miss. What you need help with?
Well... Gosh, where do we even begin? I guess we'll take a look around. I guess I'm looking for... say I were to pay someone a visit, any sort of gift or something like that might, make the interaction a little more friendly might be a way to start. Usually I start with wine or something, but I don't believe I'm going to be finding wine here, so... Unless you have wine.
Little short on wine, but I mean, if you're looking after
Yeah.
wine, you can most likely find a glass or two over at the Laughing Horse. But it kind of like wipes his hands on his like little apron and just kind of goes, well, it just begins like kind of like making a good show of just kind of like gesturing all like the bits and bobs that the store has. And he actually does say, well, we got plenty of bits and bobs here for your fancy. If you're looking, feel free to take a browse. If you're looking to impress the sort of folks who sincere gift, we've got plenty of little canned goods from the local farmers. If you're looking for, got a few mason jars over here. Not quite the season for it, but you know, we got some peaches that were from the past summer. Spiced, actually, very tasty. And Alice from behind the counter goes, it's like, I can confirm they're very tasty peaches.
Ooh, peaches. That sounds lovely.
I don't know why they hit me a certain way. I can confirm they're very tasty.
Hell yeah, like very much make a good show, and you just grab like a thing of like spiced peaches, and just kind of like takes over and just begin to make the transactions. There is not any major modern convenience to be found in this place as they manually go about the process of like writing your receipt and like getting your getting like the little cash box out for you and taking the money, giving you your change back. Kind of like leans on the counter and John says, so what brings you three to Lesser Edale? Looking for a nice bit of sunny weather in the countryside? Kind of referring to the rain outside.
No, that wasn't exactly the thing. Actually, I would say that this particular mood is probably pretty good for monster hunting, as it were.
They both kind of like visibly just go, there's like this kind of like discomforting sense between the two of them, and goes, and Alice says, monster hunting? That's certainly, I assume you know the rumors then?
That is what we're here about, yes.
Well, I'm at least glad it's bringing in some form of company, even if it's drawing away others. They kind of like grumble, and there seems to be a topic they're not like super jazzed about.
That's a shame. I can't imagine why. To me, it seems absolutely fascinating.
Well, I enjoy your enthusiasm, miss, but truth be told, not a lot of folks tend to visit places where there are supposedly gruesome murders happening. And that's unfortunate for Alice and I, considering most of our business thrives on tourism.
That is unfortunate.
I figure it's not fantastic for business for all of the other things going around. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like they just kind of like nod and just being, well, thank you most kindly. That means a lot to us. Well, there's like this awkward silence that kind of like follows. They're not sure what to say next.
Actually, quick question. My kid sort of like does like a half-second pause, shoots a glance at Sybil. My daughter was quite taken by the castle at the top of the hill.
Oh, yes!
Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Alice says, right, well, that would be the Vane family. And John pitches in and says, it's called Plum Castle. It's up on the hill there. What do you wanna know about them?
Well, I mean, people who live in a castle tend to at least be some form of interesting, so I guess now seems like a time to ask about the history or anything like that.
Well, I don't know a lot, but the Vane family has been living in that castle for some time now. It's actually the keep of an old castle that's kind of fallen into bad repair. They call it Plum Castle. Let's see.
And John says, current patriarch of the family is one Lord Arthur Vane. Getting up there in years. He's got wife's passed on, I'm afraid. He's got a son and a daughter, Lawrence and Eloise. Well, they kind of keep to themselves. So
they don't exactly come down here often to try the spiced peaches.
You could say that. They've been here for the better part of 700 years now. At least that's what I have heard.
700 years and they don't come to get the peaches? What the fuck?
Sybil.
No.
Sorry, it's a lovely town. I can't imagine holing up in a dusty old castle. Like, the castle's nice, but there's other places.
Well, my understanding is that Lord Vane, I mean, he's a lord, used to spend some time in London, but by my understanding, he hasn't really left the castle since his wife died, spending more time with his family. I mean, sorry, don't do a lot of business with them, but I'm sure if you're interested to know more about the Vane family, there are others in Lesser Edale who can help you out with that.
Be sure to ask.
You mentioned that, you get a lot of tourism that comes through here.
Oh,
Kinda
yes.
What sort, really?
Well, mostly folks looking to partake in the countryside. And Alice says, we're beautiful hills that surround the valley. There's lots of nice walks out here when the weather calls for it. And if you can't see it because of the rain now, but just kind of southeast of the town, there's that big hill you can notice when it's clear enough. It's Mam Tor. Beautiful view of the valley when you climb to the top. It's a bit, just a nice bit of a, people like to go for like walks around the moors and just kind of take in the countryside. It's very nice.
Oh, we'll be sure to do that then. That sounds lovely.
Weather allowing, you'd find it be most breathtaking. If you need any provisions for the hike, don't be any stranger. We got plenty to stock you up on.
I think we'll get some of that too. Thank you.
More than happy to help. Anything else you folks be looking after?
I guess, I suppose I understand you don't exactly want to be talking much about the messy business, which I completely understand. But since we're asking around, could you perhaps at least point us to where the constable is?
Oh, right. Constable Tumwell's house is at the western end of the village, at the end of the road. You can't miss it. Also, if you're planning to be here for, I don't know how long you're planning to stay in Lesser Edale for, but given this weather, might be wise to rest your head on a dry mat for the evening. If you need to make any phone calls, as it were, Constable Tumwell has the only phone in the village, so...
Ah, good to know.
Good
That is... We may need to be making a call, because we might be here for a while, possibly.
Well, more than happy to help.
Thank you for your kindness and hospitality. We'll get going then.
Yes.
Yes.
Pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you, folks. Hope you have a lovely time in Lesser Edale, and don't be a stranger. Stop by any time you want.
Will do.
They smile and nod.
Sybil holds up this jar of peaches. Are they good? No, you have to give them to other people.
They're a gift. I also want to try. We can. It's not the only jar in the town. We can just get another one later. It's fine.
Sybil goes back in and buys
provisions.
several jars of peaches. You really talked up these peaches. Sorry.
You know what? It's fine. I also wanted the peaches. It's fine.
Sybil buys multiple jars of peaches.
Hell yeah. Sybil is stocked up arm-wise right now.
Just imagining this little woman waddling around in the mud with like these 6 jars of peaches.
I'm just
And she's
picturing...
also got like the fucking
I was gonna say, like, is she got her hands
umbrella
full of peaches and Kit's sitting next to her with the umbrella just like...
Yes.
Kit is carrying his doctor's bag with him. He doesn't really leave the house without it as it is. So it's probably just like a give some of those here. Puts a few of them in his fucking surgeon's bag. Carries the bag, umbrella, because he's the tallest. So
These are
etiquette dictates.
Well, I'm ready if anyone has a sugar crash.
The medicinal peaches.
It's medicinal.
So we've got a few options.
Oh yeah.
I want to say real quickly that I loved your accents as Thomas. Xander, it reminded me so much of like Jim Carrey as Captain Sham. And I didn't mean to run into you when you were sister there, Mom.
mean to run into you and your sister there. Thank you.
And then a flounder down there. That's why they never. Anyway.
That's why they never found her. God. Thank you.
So we have a couple options. Just gonna throw something out here. Sounds like some Beauty and Beast BS going on with the whole castle, along with giant dog wolf thing.
That's a family of werewolves for sure.
You know, dead wives.
Please, listen, they've only been living here for some time, only 700 or so years.
Yeah, that's a reasonable amount of time to live somewhere and be completely secluded, except for when the random murders happen.
It's a bit different out here, I guess.
Just look across the moor and it'll be beautiful. That totally isn't, you're not gonna see anything crazy. Anyway.
Is it like this normally in the countryside?
I don't know.
Right. Options. So, we could go for, try and pay a visit to the Constable. We could stop in at the church, or we could also maybe get accommodations at the Laughing Horse. I don't know.
I guess the idea would be, because the Constable has the only phone. Would we want to call back before making provisions, or make provisions and then call back?
Make provisions and then call back, I'd say. Not that it sounds like rooms are in short supply, but it would be good to set some of this down, and also
Some of what
It's
though?
damp.
You hear a voice coming from like behind you guys. Turn to see that like kind of like emerging from the rain is like the darkened like raincoat wearing like shape of somebody holding up like a creaky like lamp that is like walking your way. As it kind of like comes a little bit closer in like the darkening light, you can see that it is a constable in a raincoat. Who seems to be about in his rounds, an overweight, rotund gentleman, kind of bemused look on his face. Despite like the raincoat that he's like got draped over him, underneath it you can see a very like well-kept police uniform. As he kind of goes, right, what you folks doing out here in the rain? I'd still get an awful cold that way.
Oh, we're just trying to work out where exactly to go next. Constable Tumwell, I presume.
Oh, that's right. The only constable in Lesser Edale. That's me, Tumwell.
I mean, that would make sense.
Constable Hubert Tumwell, and you folks are?
I'm Sybil Cordova, and this is my friend New Pandel and my father, Kit Sullivan.
Well, pleasure to meet you, folks. Apologies, I was out on my rounds, and I heard mention of something about visiting me. Is there any way I can be of service?
Well, getting out of the rain, first of all, would probably be great, so...
Right.
Maybe let's do that.
The Laughing Horse is just right over here. We can pop in for a dry spell.
Let's do that.
Having now just met Hubert Tumwell, kind of walks you guys back into the Laughing Horse as he gets in, kind of like unclasps his like rain little cloak and like puts on nearby hook, kind of like pats off some of like the rain that drops have like landed on him, kind of like calls to Bill the barkeep and just kind of like orders a pint for himself after work, and just kind of gets like a little like table tucked away from everyone else, just kind of like says, oh, please, welcome to sit. How can I be of service to you?
Well, we're just a couple of folks here checking out the countryside. Admittedly, we're a bit of the adventurous sort, and we've heard some rumors that we're a little curious about.
He kind of like, they're like, his lips form kind of like a thin line, he kind of like nods a little tersely, and he says, Oh, and what rumors would those happen to be, young miss?
Something about some sort of monster around here.
Well, to tell you the truth, miss, I'd prefer rather not to talk about such business. The matter is over, and I'm keen for things around here to move on, as are most folks. The culprit, after all, is been felled and dealt with. Nothing to be, concerned or writing home about.
What's... Can I ask about the culprit?
Oh, just, tracked down a wild hound, shot it, gone off to die in the hills. Been no trouble since I shot the blighter, thank God.
Are wild hounds common around these parts?
Oh, it's the countryside. Animals can roam. Sometimes they come in all manner of places. But the matter, it's over and done with. Nothing to be afraid of. The village is quite safe.
I have a question out of character. Kid's trying to get a read on this guy, and it's he's trying to figure out whether he's uncomfortable because of the subject matter, or if he's uncomfortable because he's not telling us everything, if that makes sense.
Can you give a psychology roll?
Sure.
Nice, okay.
Nice!
He's not like, I mean, he is withholding details, but only because he's reticent to talk about the details of the case. Although he's not like lying to you, but you do get the idea that kind of in this public forum, you talking about this and kind of his eyes like flicker around the room every so often. You get the idea that he's embarrassed about talking about this because of the local opinion of the murders. You know, some people still perpetuate the idea that the beast is still about, but he's kind of embarrassed about that. But as far as he's concerned, the matter is over and done with. That's kind of what you can pick up from him.
I see. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's been taken care of, but you'll forgive me for my curiosity. Beasts are a bit of a interest of mine.
Kristen, you can give me your choice of either charm or persuade.
You went robot-y and I have no idea what you asked me to roll.
I said you can give me your choice of either charm or persuade.
Well, as if I was gonna roll anything but charm.
Yes, the fool I was.
My persuade is 10.
Well, what are you looking to know then?
Well, I'd love to hear, what the beast looked like, the order of business, as it were. Really, just about anything I can be told, honestly, even if the story's done with. I did come all this way for it, after all.
The beast were a dog, miss, a wild hound, but nothing to be afraid of. Although the locals around these parts might tell you otherwise, they got fanciful stories in their heads. Can't hardly blame them for that, but it's the way it is. If you're looking for descriptions of beasts, you might want to start with the vicar who claims to have seen a beast, but I can only say I saw a dog. The business of the murders, it was 3 months ago. It was so long ago, miss. It's so over and done with, but it was a gruesome affair. The bodies... sighs, lowers his voice, levels his eyes with you. Now, the bodies they had been ripped and torn apart. In a rather grisly and savage fashion, might I add. I admit I might not have the stomach for such things. It's not for the squeamish, that much I can say. The police examiner confirmed that the bites and claw marks were evidence of a wild animal attack. So, that's that. It's a shame what happened to those 2 people, and a shame what happened to Harold, but at least one of them got away.
It is good to hear. Can I ask, what happened to, the one who got away? Are they still living in the area? Or...
No, Harold Short, he was knocked unconscious, got deep claw marks into his belly, real nasty stuff. He moved to stay with his brother in Skegness to recuperate.
I see. Well, that would take a while to recuperate from, so that makes sense. Terrible business.
Oh, terrible affair. Terrible affair.
Terrible. Well, I'm glad to hear that the matter's done with.
Yes, indeed. And like clears his throat like awkwardly.
Well, since we're here and we intend on taking a look around, I guess let's see here. There are so many other things I want to ask. I apologize if I'm taking up your time. I understand you're taking rounds of...
I don't mind a moment out of the rain, miss. It's a welcome dryness. And a little, stout courage to warm the rest of the night. Kind of like gesturing at his pint.
So we came here for certain curiosities, and my most recent one actually is of Plum Castle. I was wondering if you've interacted with the Vane family at all.
Well, I'm familiar with the Vane family. I'm not from round these parts. I grew up in Bakewell. I've been here for about 20 years, but I've remained here ever since. The Vane family have been here for a while, by my understanding. From what I remember, they were titled back during the days of Charles II, if you can believe that.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
Although I can't rightly say why they were titled that. I'm not up to date on that. But they live in the old medieval cape up there on the hill, just out of town. Sure you saw it on your way about the road. Well, Lord Arthur Vane and his eldest and heir, Lawrence, and his younger daughter, Eloise, live there with their old and loyal servants. But I am not familiar with them overtly myself.
I see.
I will tell you that the vicar, Reverend Stratton, does kind of pride himself as a partaker in local history, and I wouldn't go so far as to say a gossip monger, but he keeps his ear low to the ground as a vicar well should.
I mean, if you have to know what's going on in town, after all, it's very important.
Keep an ear on your flock.
Right. Well, you might find him amiable to knowing more. Lesser Edale's not a large village. We don't got a library or place to do much reading around here, aside from the books folks get for their own recreation. And to tell you the truth, not a lot happens here. I mean, if that wasn't immediately obvious, the attacks were they made me a bit more conscientious than usual. Normally, it's just the usual petty offenses and drunken brawls, that kind of thing. But happy to be among these folks, and despite the ribbon every so often, these folks seem happy to have me. So I'm looking forward to this matter being over and done with, as far as I am concerned.
Well, it sounds like you've done a good job.
Well, thank you most kindly. I do appreciate that. Yeah. Well, with the matter over and done with, I'm looking forward to resuming leisurely strolls and ale here at the Laughing Horse. So, sorry you came all this way for a disappointment, but you'll find that Lesser Edale has its charms beyond that of Bruce Lee murders.
Oh, I assure you, I'm already quite charmed.
Well, happy to
No
hear that.
disappointment at all. Actually, we heard from the lovely Pitchlock couple that you have the only telephone in town. Would you mind if we called back to London some of our traveling companions, just letting them know we're probably going to be staying out here for a while.
I'd be more than happy. I can show you the way to my home and get you on the line, as it were. And puts a couple of, coins down to pay for his pint, and says, I'll escort you the way. We'll best want to move quickly to give him the rain. But
Yes,
I
of
can
course.
take short, and he will happily escort you to his home on the western edge of Lesser Edale, so you can get access to a phone and place a phone call. Which, I divert to you. What phone call do you want to make?
My phone just went off. Sorry.
We're calling Kristen.
I then will make the executive decision to say we'll probably call the hotel and leave a message for the Cordova suite for the room number and mention we got to Edale fine, we're safe, the weather's bad, we might stay the night here, don't worry about it.
Okay. Factoring what time it currently is, when you call, none of your friends would be back at the hotel right now, because everyone is out and about. Because the hotel would confirm that they have not come back yet. But you can leave a message at the hotel front desk. They will relay as soon as somebody from your group returns from wherever they are.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yep. And bro, while they're kind of placing calls, do you want to have Sunil ask the constable anything?
The many things I have been typing in chat.
I don't check the in call, so
No. I know it's not you. It's not you.
I was confused by what you meant. I'm sorry.
I am running the show.
No. I was just frantically typing for a while. Like, wait, no, someone needs to ask about this.
What do you want to ask him?
No, Well, I don't believe that you haven't been holding things down best you can. But it was mentioned at some point that some help from the outside had come in at some point. Who did you end up speaking to?
Oh, well, yes, some real policemen, as it were, from Derby, had come to oversee the murder investigation. It was an unnerving experience. I was nonetheless relieved when I had found the wild hound and shot it dead. Drew a line under the case for the big city colleagues of mine, and they went home. Simple as that. The murders had received a sizable amount of press attention after George Osgood and Lydia Parkins were murdered consecutively. So they sent in bigger city folk to make sure us bumbling countrymen weren't making a mess of this. But they seemed placated after I shot the hound.
Okay, so big dogs coming in to deal with things that they probably shouldn't have.
Coming nods.
Or might not have needed to.
Mm-hmm.
This also might be a strange question. What did you do with the body of the dog?
I shot the dog. As I said, went up to die in the hills somewhere. But I assure you, I hit it dead on. It ran off, and I know how much an animal needs to bleed for it to be considered a lethal wound.
Okay. Sorry, it probably seems like such a strange question, but...
No, I get asked it before.
P's and Q's.
Aye.
I'm sorry.
You folks planning to stay here for the evening? In Lesser Edale, that were.
Yes.
Seems like our business will take a while, so...
Right, well,
yes.
get you set up with some rooms over at the Laughing Horse, and hope this rain lets up come tomorrow, but up here in Lesser Edale, things tend to be a bit more dreary this time of season. So, better invest in a sturdy umbrella and cloak. So, if you folks see me walking about on my rounds, feel free to chat, as it were. I will be making my regular patrols, and if you folks need anything, I can point you in the right direction.
Thank you so much.
So long as that direction involves either ale or food.
I mean, both are good things to be pointed to. I'm not complaining.
And sound very good right about now, so we'll get out of your hair.
All right then, I'll show you out. You folks have a lovely evening. And he escorts you out of his house, locks up, and goes about his rounds, leaving you guys to your own business. I want to jump back over to London for a little bit now. Let's see. I'm going to... I think there is an elephant in the room we need to immediately address. Which is that of the strange case of James O'Connell. As it were. Let's see.
He's fine.
So James, you stayed on site when we left off, as the constables were running up. In broad strokes, what happens is they are going to apprehend is the wrong word, but they are going to strongly insist you come with them to their like local little station here in the neighborhood, where they want to vehemently question you as to why you are carrying a loaded shotgun on the London streets. They understand they do buy the story of a mugging, and they're going to be holding this individual in custody, and they like call like a local doctor at this ungodly hour to come and like take a look at his wound. But they do buy your story of you were attacked and you were defending yourself, but there is now the immediate infraction of you mind answer, oh god, wrong fucking accent, you mind answering just why an American is walking around Whitechapel with a loaded shotgun cocked over his arm.
You're muted, bud.
No sound is coming from you. Also, someone in the chat said 12 gauge amputation, and I love that.
It's technically not a weapon according to English law.
Speak, Split? Speak? Oh, we're not getting anything from you.
No.
Uh-oh.
Nothing?
Oh, now we are.
Wild.
I don't know.
Crazy.
Man, I don't fucking know. Okay. As I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe, I'm gonna be honest with you, that it's because I'm an American?
No, I full well buy the fact that it's because you're an American, but I'm more so interested in why you're carrying... I know they might do things differently over there in America, but here in London we got laws pertaining to shotguns and other such firearms.
Well, as far as I know, my hunting instrument here...
All right, and we're gonna play ball here, as it were, as you Americans say. Then kindly explain to me why you were carrying your hunting implement loaded through the streets of Whitechapel.
Okay. All right. If you want an honest answer, I will be 100% transparent with you, but you have to understand, this is transparency, this is honesty. My normal firearm was taken from me.
Right, because they're illegal, and as I'm sure the border... Wow, I'm losing the fucking Cockney, Jesus. As I'm sure you were told by, customs.
Of course,
when
and
you came in.
justifiably, I didn't feel safe.
Justifiably. All right. I'm gonna level with you here. I understand. They do things differently over in America. And while shotguns are considered to be part of a legal hunting implement to be carried around, you can't carry a loaded shotgun cocked over your arm through the streets of London. You just can't. Look,
I will apologize. And here's why. Nah, let me finish. Yes, of course, I'm an American, but I am an American veteran.
look, here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. Normally, foreigner or not, someone walks around London with a cocked firearm over his arm, get arrested for the night. But given that I'll say this lightly, that you're an American who might not understand the odds and ends of what's considered legal here, I'm gonna give you a very stern warning that if you're gonna carry a shotgun around with you, has to be in a case. Can't just have it loaded on your person out in public. It's gotta be in a case. At the very least.
Fair enough.
Right. Alright, it's late. Get out of here. We're gonna process the gentleman who attacked you and took your statement. So, on with your way, and please refrain from giving any more 12-gauge amputations.
I thank you very much for your understanding. And he's gonna leave the station, and as he closes the door behind him, he just softly says to himself, "Yeehaw."
Incredible. Now across town, back over out on the very outside of the Penhew Foundation, where we left off with Terrent and Mason. Mason, you have just spudded up the works as you and Terrent are now sprinting away from the Penhew Foundation at full speed down the road at this late hour.
Well, are you satisfied, Mr. Allen?
Frankly, I don't even know what that did, but that was fucking fun. Do you know where we need to go to get back home?
No, not at all. I will say that was a fine shot.
Because I fucking don't. Oh, jeez. Oh no, both Terrent and Mason don't know how to get back home. So we're just on a nightly jog.
I would say we run into an alley, just are kind of like doubled over, catching our breaths. Oh my.
Haven't gone on a run in so long. Did you hear the sound that it made?
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think that I was gonna make that at all. I thought I was gonna hit the window and I thought that was it. Are we being followed? Oh shit, are we being followed? Are we being followed?
Make a spot hidden check, Mason.
Yeah.
Not only are you being followed, there's like 3 men who have like just now turned a corner around the street like ahead of you, see you, and start walking towards you with purpose.
Oh. Well, shall we pick up the pace, Mr. Allen?
I think we shall.
Run, book it.
He's going. Oh, fuck.
Running through London without direction.
I think this calls for chase rules.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, shit.
So this is going to take a second to set up, but don't worry. Darby, since this is actually your first time experiencing chase, this is a mechanic in our game where essentially we can it's a mechanical means of having these running kind of chases. I have this little preliminary thing set up here, but let's see if I need to get rid of these. Are all from the New York chase that never happened.
All right, cool.
No worries. So, oh my goodness, it's been so long since we've talked about a chase that I need to double check the rules really quickly for
Awesome.
this. And yeah, we're gonna keep this like a very simple chase. Like, it's not gonna be too in-depth or mechanical, but I feel like that there is purpose to be established here. So give me a minute just to pull those rules up as well. Now I have Atwis in the sidelines as per usual as my wingman.
Pulling it up, Chief.
Because the Call of Cthulhu rulebook is so fucking big, it takes forever to load the PDF on my computer. It's like, what, 500 pages? It's like...
It's meaty.
It's meaty. It's got some bones. I mean, the Mask of Nyarlathotep PDF is 1,000 pages.
It's a little chunky.
A little chunky. Wait, no, it's not 1,000 pages. I forgot. The Mask of Nyarlathotep PDF is exactly 666 pages.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a spicy meatball.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna get all of these kind of things set up here. I don't have a Tarrant token on this little listy here, but that's okay. We'll just kind of use, we'll use Mason's icon and James to kind of just like represent Tarrant in this case. I need to make a Tarrant token actually.
Cool.
So let's see what we got going on here. The PDF still hasn't loaded. That's how fucking big this it eats my computer's.
I got
ass.
you, team.
Thank you. Atwis, would you like to run us through the first steps of how to set up a fucking chase sequence?
Absolutely. Okay. Part 1, we gotta figure out how fast you are. So, first off, there is a speed on your character sheet on the second page on the combat tab. I believe you should have a movement speed. Gotta tell us what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a 7.
Nice.
All right. How do we get to the second page again?
It is the tab it's the little tabs on your character sheet. There's like combat, backstory. It's underneath your hit point area.
Oh, okay. There it is. So combat. We're looking for which one?
Your move rate.
I don't have one. I don't have a movement rate stat.
Oh,
It's
we
just
can
a little
easily. Yeah, okay, that's okay. We need to actually calculate what Tarrant's movement is because we don't have that on hand. That's okay. Here, I'll pull that up right now for you. This is
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Yeah.
While we do that, so what are your dexterity scores? Just your flat dexterity scores. This determines when you move in the sequence. Your speed determines how many movement actions you can take. So, dex score.
50.
We got a 55.
Nice. 50 and 55. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so I'm pulling up my own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're gonna have to roll a con roll. This determines how much endurance you've got going on.
Yeah, so each of you roll your constitution score. All right, so Tarrant fails by 9. And Mason fails as well.
Fuck.
Okay, so this is just a modifier that applies to your movement score. Because you failed, you have a -1 to your base movement. So I think you said yours was 7, Mason?
Yeah.
All right.
So you have a 6.
Yeah, and to calculate movement rate, by the way, Tarrant, for you, we need to look at your strength and dex score, and you're also in your 40, so you have a natural -1 penalty to your movement rate. Tarrant's strength is 45, and his dexterity is 50, and his size is 45. So they're both greater than his size. And which means you have a move of 9 actually, but that would be lower down to 8. So your movement rate is 8.
So now it's 7 because I failed my roll.
Exactly, it is now 7. Great.
It was 9, and then it moves down.
He
to
has
8.
a natural -1 from being in his 40s.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
No worries. Thank you for being my fucking co-GM for this moment.
You've got it, team. Okay. Now, the next thing is that we determine the lowest adjusted movement score for everyone in this
I got to roll
sort
for
of thing.
the your pursuers.
Yeah, you
too.
got to roll from
Yeah,
the
let me roll the 3 pursuers con scores. They all have the same movement rate of 7. Just so you know. So number 1,
shit.
if it'll go through. Did it not go through?
Bated breath.
Nah, I don't see it.
Go through. All right, I'll click it again and see if it works.
There it goes. Uh-oh.
Bigger than average.
Fuck. Bigger than average Brotherhood cultists.
All right, that's 1. That's 2. Great.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
And actually move you over here. And that is 3. So they all succeed.
Okay.
Okay,
all
so they're
succeed.
definitely gonna catch up with us at some
A
point.
success means that they stay at their base movement of 7.
Yep.
If you do an extreme success, you get a +1, but luckily that doesn't
Yes.
apply here. So now that we know everyone's adjusted movement, we get to figure out movement actions. This is how many different actions you can take on your turn as you move. Tarrant has Mason has the slowest adjusted movement at 8 as a 6. So that means he has 1 movement action. The slowest person always has a 1 movement action.
Yep.
Oh, rats.
And then everyone else has a 1 plus their movement minus the slowest movement. It's a whole thing. It's just movement action, 1
So they
plus
have-
your
so
movement
Tarrant
minus
has
slowest
2.
movement.
So Tarrant has 2.
Okay.
Because he
Yep.
has a 7, and that's okay, cool. And the cultists also have 2.
Cool.
Because they had a 7 as well. Cool. All right.
Neat. Now we're set up.
Yep. Great. Now we got.
A few more things to keep in mind.
Yes.
You cannot push rolls in a chase.
Nope.
Combat and chase rounds are interchangeable. Firearms do not provide you a dex bonus in the chase, so you do not get to move at a higher, quote, initiative. And ties are resolved via an opposed dex roll, but I don't think that played in here. So
Yeah.
and your position is separate from your turn order.
Exactly. And I have the summary of the chase rules up here now on my screen because my PDF finally loaded. So I'm also referring to those. So as a reminder of kind of how this works, the pursuers, let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, the pursuers will be placed slowest at the rear, but they are all at the exact same speed, so they share the same place. And you guys are fleeing, so you guys get to be 2 locations ahead of the lead pursuer. Mason is at the rear of that, so I believe that makes you both at location 3. But Mason is considered at like the rear of that kind of position. So, and the way that a chase works is you have your movement actions. You can spend your movement action to do things during the chase. Like for example, moving ahead a space is a movement action. But if there are like hazards and like barriers in your chase, you can usually spend movement actions to get ways of like helping dealing with them, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say that this is the middle of like a posh London neighborhood late at night. This environment is unlikely to have any dangers in the main way, because like so luckily you don't have anything too nasty to deal with. All right, cool. I think we're good. Alrighty. So is the initiative still in the order of Dex? Is that how that works?
It's still in the order of Dex, correct?
Gotcha. Mason, you had 55. Tarrant, you had 50. The bigger than average boys, I'll go before you.
Oh boy.
Fuck.
While people think about it, so you can do different actions during the chase round. You can move forward to use the movement action. You can initiate an attack that uses a movement action. You can do some other action that requires time, which is either maybe creating an obstacle, getting past an obstacle, something like that. You can also delay your action until another participant in the chase has acted.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm just double checking some things very quickly before we continue. This is not a vehicular chase, so we don't have to worry about that.
Whew.
Wipe sweat off brow.
God. While we're vibing, hey chat, do you want to see my chase cheat sheet that I made?
It's pretty awesome.
Yes, please.
I
Alright,
will put it in the Discord and show you guys.
So yeah, so on your turn in the chase, you can either move forward, spending your movement action to do so. You can initiate a single attack. You could cast a spell, but none of you have spells. Or you could perform some other action requiring time and stuff like that. And as I said, you can always elect to delay until another person has gone. And there are hazards involved, so... Okay. Gotcha. All right, I'm just going through everything really quickly before we continue, because haha, it's been a while and I was not on top of it. That's okay. Alrighty. So, here we go. Cultists get to go first. They both have 2 movement actions. So essentially, as you guys start to book it down the road, as you see these 3 larger, burly gentlemen, they start to sprint after you. They're going to spend their movement actions to pursue you. And because they can, they are also going to... they draw these, like, big, solid-looking clubs, and they're going to use their other movement action to also get on this same space as you. But I believe that since they both spent their movement actions to get to where they are currently, they can't attack you unless attacking is not a movement action thing. I could be wrong, though.
Attacking it should be a movement action.
Would it take an action to actually pull out their weapon?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it would not.
Yeah.
It's not a movement action for them just to, like, draw weapons.
No, it is not.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't believe... Yeah, can we confirm that attacking is a movement action?
Yes, you can initiate one
Great.
attack
Awesome.
using an action.
Great. Then that is what the cultists do. As they gang right at your heels, Mason, you get to go. You have 1 movement action.
One movement
Yeah,
action. Okay.
Well, they'll definitely catch up with us because
Oh yeah.
yeah, they got 2 and you got 1.
Oh,
You
brother.
gotta figure something else. Something else.
I just thought of something really dumb. So Mason has a small flask with him. He also has a lighter. I thought about how plausible it would be if Mason just took like a mouthful of alcohol and then just like flicked the lighter and just like spat it at him.
Holy
to
shit.
Scare him. But I
This
also
man is
don't know if I want
unhinged.
to. Mason
I love
Allen is
Mason.
fucking unhinged.
He already nailed the potato shot, so maybe luck's on his side tonight.
This might. I might be doing this kind of like more as like an intimidation thing rather than harm because
Yeah.
I don't know how comfortable I am with like setting somebody on fire. Mason wouldn't really be either, but they're close on us anyway. So if it happens, it happens. Yeah, I'm gonna start breathing fire.
Okay, give me a second to roll something, by the way, just so I can do some pre-planning. I'm gonna roll physical dice to keep it secret. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So let's... Okay, I think I see where you're going. So wait, you're not trying to harm any of them by doing this? Like, you're not trying to hurt one? You're just trying to, like... I mean, because
okay, so the intention is not to harm, but if they're on our ass when I do it, they fucked around and found out.
Yeah.
They are on your ass. I guess this is more so, for my understanding for the mechanics, is if we're going to consider this, like, you spending your thing to make, like, an attack, or we'll consider, like, a similar to, like, a maneuver of, like, maybe it, like, throwing them off their game a little bit. So it's up to you. Do you want to hurt them, or do you want to, like, stall them for a hot second? No pun intended.
It might have to be stall them for a second, because if we end up getting into the next round and they have 2 actions, they can hit me with both the actions. And I don't know if I can survive 1 hit. We'll have to see how it goes.
You do, conflict is resolved like it is in normal combat, so you can do like the whole dodge or dive out of the way type thing when you get attacked, or you could fight back if you so choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There are 3 of them.
yeah. So it's up to you. So this is, you want to do this more as like an intimidation kind of thing?
Yeah, I want to like stall them, possibly intimidate them to like back the fuck up, because I'm breathing fire. I'm crazy. I'm a dragon. Don't fuck with me.
Okay. I think by necessity, this is going to be, I'm going to ask you to make, oh, this is interesting, because by the maneuver rules, I would say make an intimidate check, but I could also see argument for this being use of your brawl skill for just the physical, like, actually spray fucking fire in the air, like, wildly, just with your physical body.
Oh, thank God. Mason is not an intimidating man in the slightest. He's a squishy little boy.
What is Mason's build score?
Mason's build is that like his size?
No.
Oh no, his build is 0.
His build is 0?
Yeah.
You have 2 penalty dice for this maneuver, because this guy is 2 sizes bigger than you.
Oh fuck. Okay.
So 2 penalty dice. That is if you want to do the maneuver. If you want, you'll have 2 penalty dice for the maneuver, since these guys are fucking big and scary. If you just want to like hurt him, then we'll resolve that as a different damage kind of thing. So your call, but you got to make the decision quick.
Okay. Mason looks at Tarrant. You want to see something crazy? Takes a swig from the flask. I'm gonna try to do damage.
Okay, I'll be kind of and qualify this as a brawl skill. So go ahead and roll your roll your brawl.
Fuck you!
Ooh.
Oh no!
I believe he can fight back if he so chooses. And he so chooses.
Okay, all right. You know, I made this grave. I'll lie in it.
Oh my God.
Shit.
So Mason, as you are running from this guy, you see they're running after, they're gaining on you. You see like Terran's like running faster than you. You panic. You grab your flask. You flick the top off. You chug a bunch of like cheap bourbon you got from your tavern crawl last night down into your mouth. Take out your lighter and just slide it and just let out this like kind of like gout of like weak flame, but it does have this impressive spray to it. So Terran, it is actually quite impressive. But you see that like as like the flames kind of dim and your like eyes adjust to the light again, you see that like one of these like larger like thugs, which man, look at this guy, he is definitely taller than James O'Connell, is like shielding with his like heavy overcoat and like looks up, takes out his cudgel and swings it so hard at your head.
That did 7 damage.
Yes. What is your health?
My health is a 12. I think I'm.
Oh my God.
Isn't this a major wound?
This is considered a major wound.
Yeah.
As you see a flash of white light as this cudgel strikes your head.
Xander, I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry if it's, but it's something that came up when we were doing stuff, so I want to know if it also
Yeah.
applies to other people. Since he's aiming for the head, would he take a penalty die since he is aiming for the head?
I believe that's firearms.
That's firearms.
When you target.
Just firearms?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. This is more so I'm narrating that it hits his head just because of how much damage it dealt. So it's
I'm
like,
just asking.
yeah. No, totally. Thank you for
I want to
clarifying.
save Mason Allen, okay?
We know.
God save.
So this is a major wound. So yes, go ahead on your character sheet, Mason. Can you check the major wound? You already did.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
and
there it is.
now I need you to roll. I believe it's a con roll.
It
to
is
see
a
if
con
you just
roll.
Immediately get knocked the fuck unconscious. So roll your con.
Let's see.
And he is prone. Yeah.
There
so.
it is.
So Tarrant, you watch that as Mason sprays his gout of flame. This like large burly thug just plants a hand on the back of his shoulder, takes his cudgel, and whack, just brings with a sharp cracking sound. You see Mason drop to the ground like a sack of bricks as the other two cultists look up at you with similar intent. Mason, I have good news for you. You're not dying because this was non-lethal damage. That just hurt like a motherfucker.
Oh, I'm gonna be recovering from that for a long time. Fuck.
Tarrant. All right. So that was those guys. Now Tarrant, it is your turn in the chase.
Well, okay. I have a gun on me, but my firearm skill is very terrible because I've never used a gun before. Now, are these guys? Do we have an idea of? Are they intending to kill us, or are they just trying to capture us?
You're a man of letters of science. Like, they hit Mason so fucking hard, but you can tell that they seem to be content with the fact that they knocked him unconscious. One of the other guys is like already like leaning on like scoop and haul Mason. It does not seem like they're trying to kill you guys. Atlas, yes?
May I make a suggestion as a member of the Brain Council? You're in a posh London neighborhood and firearms aren't really a thing. If someone hears a shot go off, they're probably gonna call the police, which might be a good thing for you. Something to consider.
Cool.
You don't necessarily have to try and hit them. You could shoot it in the air and then fucking throw the gun so that, you know, you're not caught with a gun, but...
All right, I got one then. I'm going to not use my gun because that will give away that I have at least some way to defend myself, and I'm going to save that if I need it. Tarrant is just going to opt to yell fire as loud as he can.
Love
In
that.
this posh
Okay.
neighborhood.
You scream fire out loud. That I would not say that counts as a movement action. So that's just you can just scream fire. You still have 2 movement actions if you want to try and run away, and just get distance, or attack them back or whatever. It's up to you. Yeah.
Other things that you can do, you can try and create hazards. If there's something nearby, you can try and like shove it in their path to trip them up.
Yeah, like there are like trash bins. There are things around that you could like feasibly try to make hazards out of, or it's only limited by your creativity.
Yeah. In this situation, I'd say that noticing that these ruffians are not intending to kill Mason, Tarrant makes the kind of like self-actualized and like he feels ashamed about it. But he's like, I can't take these guys, and the rest of the crew isn't going to know about this unless I tell them. So he's going to have to make the tough decision of just running away to let them know that these thugs captured Mason. And I'm going to use one of my actions to try to throw some, knock some trash cans or whatever debris, some obstacles in the way of these pursuers.
Yeah, totally. I think that making a hazard is you just do it, I believe. I'm double checking that right now. Like you spend the movement action. Let's see.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, great. I will say that you can, if you want, you can spend a movement action to move 1 space forward, while also spending your second movement action to create a hazard between the 2 points, so that means that the guys who are chasing you will have to deal with that hazard in order to keep going. So you'll move 1 space forward, and they'll get to deal with that. Awesome. Speaking of, the cultist who has now thrown Mason over his shoulder is actually going to peel out of the chase entirely and just dip down a nearby alleyway. As soon as you scream fire, grabs Mason and just books it. The other 2 guys are on your tail. So they are going to have to roll for this thing. Let's say that we're gonna say that they have to roll. I'm actually gonna refer to chapter 1 of the chase that never happened here in Nyarlathotep. There was a similar trash-laden obstacle. I'm just going to rip what that was from the book. Let us see that very quickly. Where are you? Where are you? Somewhere around here. There it is. Okay. They're going to try to force their way through the garbage by spending a movement action to essentially deal with this hazard. So they're going to... they feel pretty confident about their ability to push through a bunch of trash in the street. So, okay, one of them does it. And both of them do it. One of them barely, but... Okay, they both navigate, but that means they wasted a movement action, so that means they can only use 1 more action to get to the same point as you. But they can't actually do anything now that they're here. Terrence, we cycle back to you.
All right. So I guess I'm just gonna continue running. I'm gonna use both my tears welling up in his eyes, feeling helpless, like I can't do this alone, but this is they'll take me to I'm not going to win a fight with them. I need the rest of the group to help save Mason. But it just this kind of shameful feeling of running away from someone who needs it. Yeah.
Totally. All right.
So, yeah.
You choose to run away.
Use both his actions to run.
Okay, cool. I need to roll 2 things. You're getting very lucky because so far you are getting no hazards on your chase so far that are just naturally generated. So these are, you have moved 2 spaces ahead of them. Roll some dice very quickly. That's more like it.
Dude, this is fun. I so often play fighter characters in RPGs.
Right.
I very rarely get these morally ambiguous choices where I have to put myself in these, oh, I hate this, but I gotta do it this way positions.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, it's
gotta survive.
Gotta survive, man. Let's see. I'm just rolling for fun random chase stuff. Okay. Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, so you can see, Taryn, that running up ahead, there is... you're pulling down a side street. The neighborhoods are very nice, but there is a well-stocked grocer that's up ahead, and at this late hour there are 2 delivery vehicles that have pulled, kind of blocking the street. So that's providing kind of a hazard of cluttered crates and barrels that are being unloaded by these late night crew members of the grocery store. So that is something that you're gonna have to navigate with, possibly, or if they will catch up with you. Speaking of, though, they are right at your heels. They're still covering large amounts of ground. So it cycles back around to you. I will say that Tarrant will have, if you want to, this is between you and the next safe location in the chase. In order to maneuver this, this is going to be I'd say this is either a jump or a strength roll. So kind of I'll let you decide. Now, of course, there is the option of if you spend a movement action to take a cautious approach, you'll get a bonus die on the roll. But that'll mean you're spending 2 movement actions, which means that you won't actually cover much ground, and they will probably catch up to you. So it's kind of a sink or swim moment at this exact second.
Shoot, I'm not sure what my best option is.
Well,
what are my
yeah,
higher
let's see.
stats?
What's his so you got a strength of 45 and you have a jump of 20. So of those two,
Yeah, 45.
statistically not great, but the 45 is a greater chance.
Yeah. Well, guess we gotta go with strength then. I just roll my strength?
Yep, just click the strength.
Nope.
All right.
Oh no.
Okay. So you kind of
Does
split.
he have luck points?
Yeah, I have luck points I guess I could use.
You can use luck, you can't push rolls.
Yeah. If you want to spend that many luck points to make this a success, you can.
Alright, that ends up being...
Less than 20, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is
So it's
exactly.
like 16 points.
Sorry, let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just crunching the numbers. Yeah, that's 16. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to spend 16 luck points to make that a success,
Alright.
you can
I'm gonna
get
do that.
to that space forward by kind of like, you like just booking it, screaming fire, Tarrant. Like there are these stacked crates of like of supplies and food that you just barrel through and like throw wildly on the ground behind you, just like screaming bloody murder as these guys continue to chase you. Awesome. Damn, you're getting lucky. This is a pretty clear chase, but that also means that you're not really getting stopped either. Luckily, these guys don't have any ranged weapons.
Nice.
They do need to make a movement action to try and power through this. Let's see how that looks.
Please fuck up.
Ooh. One of them does fail. One of them does succeed. So one of them gets stuck, kind of at this point, while the other one kind of does continue to get at your tail though. But with one movement action, to try and do that, he'll try. I think you can try multiple times in a turn as long as you have movement actions to do it with. He won't be able to move anywhere else, but let's just see if he's able to, for the next turn, get like be able to be considered moving between them. I don't know if that's how that works or if he just stops. But I'll say that he'll make. Actually, you know what? I'll be kind because I don't want to delay too much. I'll say that he is stalled for now, and he'll have to make a go at it next round. But the other guy is right on your tail, so he kind of like trips and like kind of gets caught up amidst like the confused crowd that is coming out of the grocery store to see who's screaming fire, what all that raucous was. This one guy just leaps over the crates and is right on your tail as this guy gonna get stuck. Atlas, you look like you have answers.
You can actually go into debt with movement actions. So if you get like stopped by, if you like use your movement action to get stopped by a barrier, but like have to get over it, you can actually like go into debt for your movement action for the next turn, so you could be sitting at a -1 or whatever.
Really default.
I'm gonna have him do that.
It
so
was hidden, but yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of just like is like sitting awkwardly in the space where he's gonna have one less movement action next turn, as it has kind of taken him into debt to go over there. Thank you for pulling that. So Tarrant, once more, this guy is right on your tail. You got one dude going slower, but now you got one dude who is right behind you.
Well, I'm just gonna keep running. There's not much else I can do.
Okay. No hazards on your way. So unless you want to create any hazards yourself, you can just move 2 spaces.
Are they rolling for hazards as well, or is it just me?
I'm generating the hazard just kind of as we're reaching these points. This is more so just for like the geography of the area.
Okay.
So yeah.
May the Brain Council make a suggestion?
Yeah, go for it.
Would it be free to just look around and see if there are any businesses or something that would be open that you could duck into? Like, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, there's like restaurants and pubs in the area as well. And also, here's what I'll say, like, let us say that point 10 at here, like this little 10 marker is like a very busy, well-staffed, upscale restaurant that you can see kind of just like there's like an alleyway up ahead, and on the other side of the alleyway you can see the very well lit, very crowded restaurant. You feel like that if you get there, you can duck in there and probably shake this guy.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm heading. Well, this will take me to point 8, right?
This will take you to point 9 if you spend both. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go.
Great.
Let's just go to 9.
Hell yeah. This guy is going to move right on your tail. This guy gets a loss of 1, so he only moves
-1,
back
yeah.
here. So he's only stuck at that movement place on the chase right now. So you're watching him get like kind of like further back and kind of seeing like the crowd that's now forming from you screaming at this hour. He entirely just like runs off into a nearby alleyway and is gone.
Right on.
Now here it is, moment of truth. Let me roll to
Yeah.
see if there are any hazards in your way between the restaurant and this. Ooh, I rolled a 92 on my little list here. It is one. Ooh, this is one extreme hazard on the list.
Oh my god.
Okay. Here we go.
So hold on.
Come on, damn it!
It's like a big fence or something.
Get
Yeah.
out of there, damn it!
Let's see.
I think the music stopped.
Oh, it's still going for me.
Oh,
It
weird.
stopped for me.
Yeah, it ended up stopping for me too.
Yeah, it's still going on my end. Oh man.
I mean, you know, I guess as long as chat can hear it, really,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
matters.
No, Christian, I need the atmosphere.
I refreshed Roll 20 and it started again. For me,
It
so.
started again, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So this is going to be an extreme hazard, which an extreme hazard means that you would need an extreme success on this skill to bypass it.
Oh, God.
And I'm trying to think, let's see. I'm looking what is an adequate extreme like hazard here. Let's see. Oh, you know what? No, it says hazard or barrier. So instead of making this I am going to make this a barrier. So there is going to be like a fence that is like that now, because you're kind of like up on a hill, so you can see the restaurant like now kind of coming down the hill, coming to this alleyway. There is this like tall fence that blocks your way. This is like
Well, that
stacked
uses-
high, and it's like slick with rainwater, thick with like grime and fog.
That uses one of my movement actions, right?
To navigate a barrier, it's going to be probably this is going to be a jump or a climb roll at an extreme difficulty.
Oh.
This isn't gonna go well.
Alice, you look like you have thoughts. Am I doing something wrong here?
No. Sorry. You mentioned it's like a fence. Is it like a solid fence?
I'm just going by the fact that it said extreme barrier, and I'm just thinking, what's a barrier? A fence, a solid stone kind of wall
Okay.
barrier. Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking like a high wall.
Yeah.
And like there's like a locked like iron like door in its side, and that like for like transiting through the alleyway. So this is going to be okay. Actually, hold on. This is something that said. So it says that so obviously there's going to be like the possible jump or climb involved, but that's an extreme difficulty. There is a rule for breaking down barriers. So like for example, you know, if you wanted to try and like break down this door, it's unlike, I will tell you right now though, since it's like a sturdy door, it's probably gonna take more than what you are able to hit it with your just sheer force. So it is. So if you want to give a jump or a climb a go, you can certainly try. What's up, Split?
I approached the stand of the
Please
brain
approach the stand of the council.
So Terrence jump and or climb, how does that compare to Terrence bang bang?
You know, I thought of shooting the door too. It's 5 points lower than either my
Not
jump or
shooting
climb.
the door.
Like the lock on the door or something.
Not shooting the. Oh, I see what he's going after. Not necessarily
But-
shooting the door, but
My firearm is worse than my jump or climb.
Listen, moving target, static
Okay.
target. Moving target, static target.
Yeah, they're all
Fair
bad.
enough.
Like
Yeah.
firearms are 10.
actually his climb, jump, and handgun are all the exact same number, which is
handgun.
20.
Okay, yeah. So either one.
I guess pick your poison, my friend.
Pick your
That was
poison.
my only comment.
All right, I'm gonna jump.
That, holy shit, that is not.
I can use luck if I need to.
How many luck points do you have left?
I got 25 left if I need to go for an extreme.
If you need, with a score of 20, you're going to need This needs to be a 4. So
I freaking Sandlot.
if you dump if you dump if you dump all of your luck points in this, you end up with a 6.
Oh no.
Which is 2 shy of what you need.
Oh crap.
And you don't have any more luck beyond that. You do not have enough.
Can he use one of his movements to give himself a bonus die?
He could. That would I would allow that. Now, so that means you can roll another like, so click the little bonus box there and enter 1 bonus die. If you roll, you're gonna need a 2 or lower on this. So
no.
Unfortunate.
No.
Now
Okay.
I'm in trouble.
So
am I still using my? I guess I didn't use my luck because it wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, you were 2 luck points shy of being able to dump it all into a success for this. Taryn,
no.
you see the wall. You sprint towards it with all of your speed. You leap and scramble against the slick, wet stones of the wall barrier, spinning to turn just in time as this large, burly man is right on your tail as well, and he is going to try and clock you with his club. Now, you might be able to dodge this, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh, man.
Let me swing with his ability.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
You can.
God.
So you could try to fight back or dodge, but you would also need to get an extreme or critical success on either your dodge or brawling skill.
If you fight back and you draw, the person who initiated it wins.
Yeah. So he'll.
If you dodge and you succeed, the defender wins.
So
Yeah.
if you dodge and get an extreme success, you will take no damage. So do you want to try?
Yeah.
You
fail.
can spend. You could.
I'm gonna do my
Wait, 25.
luck roll.
And hold on, let's see what's the number say. You need a 5. If you spend, if you spend 24 luck points, you
God.
will negate the
Might as
damage
well.
here.
Yep. There you go.
Okay. Good to know.
I'm down to 1 luck point.
Oh gosh.
And that is all he can do on his. Since he's kind of like fighting you. But on your turn now, Tarrant. What do you want to do? You're in a dark
try to
alleyway. This dude right in front of you. You could try to run again. This wall is a pretty big, difficult. You could try pushing past him, trying a different route, but or failing that. Maybe.
My handgun attack isn't great. Like
Yeah,
it's only
it's
20
not. Yeah, I
points.
said failing that. So up to you,
My
Tarrant.
best option is to try to climb it or jump it again, right? Is that pretty much it?
Yeah.
It's
just
either
about,
that
I
or
guess.
surrender. So
I mean, it ends this either I surrender or they knock me out and take me. I'm gonna try to escape.
Okay, so there are a few things to consider here. I say pulling up my stuff. So if you shoot your handgun, they can't fight back or dodge. I'm pretty sure all they could do is duck for cover to avoid a handgun shot. That is if you hit, right? If you hit, you have a chance to do significant damage and maybe down this guy and incapacitate him. That's an option. It is still slim.
you also have point blank, correct?
Yeah, it's point
It
blank.
is
blank,
point blank, so you'd get a bonus die.
You get a bonus die. So you would need to hit a 20 on your dice to succeed that. So do you want to take that risk and try and shoot him for some damage?
Wait, what is this person's build?
2.
Yeah, we don't know how much health.
Okay,
they
never
have.
mind.
Yeah,
Just
so
trying to
this
be
is not a great
sneaky.
idea, right? They probably have a lot of health.
None of them are a good idea. All of them suck.
All of these, none of these are good ideas. Yeah.
If you're gonna try and do damage, the most amount of damage you're gonna do is via a successful gunshot. Otherwise, you can use your 2 bonus actions to try and make the jump again with a bonus die. With movement actions, make the jump again with a bonus die. Or since you have 2 movement actions, you can shoot, and then you can also move and or try to escape.
I could try to escape and then shoot.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that because
Could you
of
run past him?
I'm gonna say that because this is like a dead end alleyway with a wall, and he's like on the other side. I'm going to qualify him as a hazard to like, and the hazard being like this guy could try and just block your escape in this alleyway. I would qualify. You could either use strength to shove past him or dex to like nimbly get yourself out of there and like just keep booking it down the street.
Is it possible,
right? There's 2 guys.
Or
the other guy left.
Oh, he left. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll try to run past him. That's my. I get the odds.
Is it possible to
Dex,
use another movement point to like break his ankles or something? Like just like really like give him like the shake, give him the jukes, give him the basketball jukes.
Give him basketball jukes. If he did both of those things, he would not be able. He wouldn't make any progress in his move. So it's like you either want to evade him and keep running, or do you want to like dribble, juke him? So your choice of either dexterity or strength.
Dexterity is better.
Go for it. Roll for it.
Nope.
All right.
No.
Try to scoot out of the way. He body checks you and blocks you. You have 1 movement action left. Do you want to try? It's like do you want to try and attack him, or like try anything else?
It's not gonna kill him if I attack him, so I've got a better shot of just trying to climb the wall again at this point. Because if I try to run past him, he's got 2 movement and he'll catch up with me, right?
I will say, if you shoot, you get a bonus die.
You do get a bonus die.
You do just flat out get a bonus die, and since they're all like the same score, you may not outright kill him, but it will be a gunshot that goes off in the area that will bring more people to you. Potentially, hopefully.
I think
Let's shoot him.
Also, considering that, do you need that? You gotta have a license at this point to have a firearm.
Okay, so I've actually been DMing Split about this entire time. How long is Terrence's firearm? What do you have?
You have a handgun.
You have a pistol? Okay.
Yeah.
So Terrence fucked. I have other words on the other thing later, but like Terrence. That said, Terrence is a citizen. But he's never actually used. Okay, no, those are just things that I've been looking up British law for the past while this is happening because I've been stressed. Okay.
He can always just say it's the dude's gun.
Yeah.
He can also just say it's the other dude's gun. So
Terrence, moment of truth right here. What do you want to do?
Well, with some in a moment of moral quandary, he reaches for the gun that James gave him, points it at the baddie, and takes a shot.
Go for it.
So roll just that handgun?
Handgun, yeah.
Fucking roll it.
Okay.
Right, so I get a bonus die,
die?
Right?
Yeah.
So... Oh! There it is! I rolled a 1.
Okay. So that is an 18, which succeeds. So this is Bosco's gun. So go ahead and roll. This is roll a D8 for me.
That's a real Chekov's gun moment right there, bud.
Please.
That's 5.
That's quite a bit.
Can I go to his kneecap?
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He's a large man.
I'm going to have him try and dive for cover on this. Just being able to leap out of the way as you fire off this shot. Let's see if he succeeds. I will tell you right now, he doesn't have a great chance of dodging because he only has a 35.
And he has to get the same level of success.
He dodged.
Which is a basic
These
success.
bad guys are rolling perfect.
So he's able to throw himself out of the way, but that nullifies his ability to do anything because he throws himself to the ground, giving you an opening now on your turn to just fucking start booking it. The
other way or something.
Other way. I mean, yeah, you still don't know that there's populated places around here, so you can just run out and find a new place. But you just start booking it. I'm gonna just back you up here. This
What's the societal implication of the gun going off?
There seems to be a stir of commotion going on nearby as people are kind of like beginning. You hear like dogs barking in the vicinity. Taryn, you hear the like squealing of like tires on cobbles as an automobile comes like screeching around the corner, and like 3 women get out of a car and immediately walk over to the cultist who's just beginning to get up, pull out a gun, and just shoot him right in the head, point blank. Look at you. Cocks the gun, and they start walking towards you as the car kind of like moves, like pulls a little bit, and they just say in like a thick Arabic accent, "Get in the car," pointing the gun at you.
You better I don't know these people.
Oh god.
And that is where we're gonna go to break. We're gonna go to break there.
Oh god.
Oh, Taryn, we're really in it now.
Oh my god, I appreciate y'all's advice on this. Like, that made it for a really exciting scene.
All right, we'll be right back after a much delayed and much needed break. So don't go anywhere. We will resume Mask of Nyarlathotep very shortly to figure out what is happening next. Stay tuned, everybody.
The Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Part 7. This hermit good lives in that wood which slopes down to the sea. How loudly his sweet voice he rears. He loves to talk with mariners that come from a far country. He kneels at morn and noon and eve. He hath a cushion plump. It is the moss that wholly hides the rotted old oak stump. The skiff boat neared. I heard them talk. Why, this is strange, I trow. Where are those lights, so many and fair, that signal made but now? Strange, by my faith, the hermit said, and they answered not our cheer. The planks looked warped, and see those sails, how thin they are and sere. I never saw aught like to them, unless, perchance, it were brown skeletons of leaves that lag my forest brook along, when the ivy tod is heavy with snow, and the owlet whoops to the wolf below, that eats the she-wolf's young. Dear Lord, it hath a fiendish look, the pilot made reply. I am afeard. Push on, said the hermit cheerily. The boat came closer to the ship, but I nor spake nor stirred. The boat came close beneath the ship, and straight a sound was heard. Under the water it rumbled on, still louder and more dread. It reached to the ship, it split the bay, the ship went down like lead. Stunned by that loud and dreadful sound, which sky and ocean smote, like one that hath been 7 days drowned, my body lay afloat. But swift as dreams myself I found within the pilot's boat. Upon the whirl where sank the ship, the boat spun round and round, and all was still, save that the hill was telling of the sound. I moved my lips. The pilot shrieked and fell down in a fit. The holy hermit raised his eyes and prayed where he did sit. I took the oars. The pilot's boy, who now doth crazy go, laughed long and loud, and all the while his eyes went to and fro. Ha ha, quoth he, full plain I see, the devil knows how to row. And now, all in my own country, I stood on the firm land. The hermit stepped forth from the boat, and scarcely he could stand. Oh, shrieve me, holy man. The hermit crossed his brow. Say quick, quoth he, I bid thee say, what manner of man art thou? Forthwith this frame of mine was wrenched with a woeful agony, which forced me to begin my tale, and then it left me free. Since then, at an uncertain hour, that agony returns, until my ghastly tale is told, this heart within me burns. I pass like night from land to land. I have strange power of speech. That moment that his face I see, I know the man that must hear me. To him my tale I teach. What loud uproar bursts from that door? The wedding guests are there, but in the garden bough the bride and bridesmaids singing are, and hark, the little vesper bell which biddeth me to prayer. O wedding guest, this soul hath been alone on a wide, wide sea. So lonely 'twas that God himself scarce seemed there to be. O sweeter than the marriage feast, 'tis sweeter far to me, to walk together to the kirk with a goodly company. To walk together to the kirk, and all together pray, while each to his great Father bends, old men, and babes, and loving friends, and youths and maidens gay. Farewell, farewell, but this I tell to thee, thou wedding guest, he prayeth well who loveth well, both man and bird and beast. He prayeth best who loveth best, all things both great and small, for the dear God who loveth us, he made and loveth all. The mariner, whose eye is bright, whose beard with age is hoar, is gone, and now the wedding guest turned from the bridegroom's door. He went like one that hath been stunned, and is of sense forlorn. A sadder and a wiser man, he rose the morrow morn.
And welcome back. So we're gonna return to Tarrant in a little bit. I think for now, though, why don't we pop back up from London back to the wonderful Nancy Drew mystery over in the village of Lesser Edale.
No, no, no.
Yes, actually. Yes.
I'm sure everything is going just fine over in London.
I am also sure that everything is going just fine over in London.
So, after getting off the phone at Constable, Tumwell's leaving a message and leaving his house. What do you three want to do now?
Round about what time is it?
Roundabout, I'm gonna say it's nearing like 6 p.m. I'd say.
All right.
6 or 7, I'd say.
So we can get accommodations now, or if you think it would be a better idea to swing by the church and ask the resident local historian some questions, we might be able to catch him if he's still there.
I mean, given that it's getting a little late, we should probably get to the church if we're going to talk to anyone else today.
I mean, it's
From
true. So one is on the way to the other, so we might as well stop at the church.
Yeah.
Good point.
The innkeeper seems already aware that we're here anyway, so
Exactly.
might be expecting us for all we know.
So to the chapel.
Take me
Indeed.
to church.
We're like a dog.
Like a dog indeed. So,
like a werewolf at the size.
take me to Wolf Church. All right. So, great. Located in the center of Lesser Edale is a relatively newly built church, like made from limestone. There's a little like a small vicarage like immediately attached to the not attached to, but like next to the church. There's some lights on in there. And you can see there's like an attached village cemetery, and old foundations of what was probably like an older former church building. You can make out like a little bit of like blackening on the stones. Where'd my music go? Play again. There we go. You can see that the lights in the church windows are completely dark, but there are lights on in the vicarage.
Might seem like a strange question, but for my sake, is denomination clear?
Let me double check. Denomination is not clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like there's... Oh, look, lightning. Thunder? Okay. So... Well, there is some sort of light, if we would like to knock.
Why not? I shall knock.
Knock on the door of the vicarage. You kind of hear some movement within. A moment later, the door is answered by this genial-looking old gentleman, near bald, somewhat hunchbacked due to age, dressed in a vicar's collar and clerical robes. Seems a little curious by the three strangers that stand on his doorstep, but there is a kind of calm, generally one might consider, generally placid and otherwise non-hostile expression as he kind of like looks at the three of you, and this gentleman says, "Right then, may I help you?"
Hi, I'm Sybil Cordova. My friends and I were here just sort of taking a trip, checking out the sites, and we hear you're a bit of a local history buff. Assuming it's not too late for you.
Oh, no, please. Would you like to come in out of this awful weather? Well,
Oh, that would be delightful.
yes, of course. Kind of like takes a step back to like let you into like the opening room. What he kind of says as you guys enter, "Where are the three of you coming from? I don't recognize you amongst my parishioners, and you definitely are not from Derbyshire." Looking at Sybil.
We were visiting London, but we heard that Yknow was a place of interest, so we figured we would take the trip.
I see. Could somebody roll a spot hidden check for me?
Sure, I'd love to.
Atwis,
It's not talking,
rolling.
so...
Oh, very
Listen,
nice.
he's good at it.
He's good at it, exactly.
And he's not talking, so... yeah.
You see that there are, kind of like in the main area of the vicarage where there's like a desk. There is a kind of like pile of like papers, like a various correspondences on the desk that bear the letterhead of the Derwentton Valley Order of the Golden Druid, as well as what looks to be like a primer to for Greek to English translations that occupy a significant portion of the desk. Further cluttering are like various loose papers containing handwritten notes with an obscure which there's like a there's like they kind of like pile on top of like an old leather journal. The word Vane, V-A-N-E, can be discerned on one of the loose papers. Kind of like spy that as you come in. And he says, "Well, welcome to the village. I'm Reverend Jeremy Stratton. I'm the vicar here. I was not expecting guests, but I'm always welcome to meeting new folk. Would you like some tea, something to drink? Or I have a fire going in the other room if you want to dry yourselves. It is awfully coming down out there."
Tea would be lovely. It is, as you said, coming down out there.
"Yes, of course. Allow me to steep some for you. Make yourself comfortable wherever you feel warm. I'll be just a moment." And like walks
Thank
off
you.
into the vicarage's kitchen.
Kit will sort of like lean down a little bit and surreptitiously do like a little nod towards is the desk is that area still like visible enough, or yeah, he just sort of does like a little nod towards the desk area and just sort of like a interesting.
looks, nods back.
Sybil.
I'm sorry, the mental image I just got. I really need to
Like,
draw
it's really subtle. Sunya's really subtle. Sybil, eyes widen, points. You.
Sybil, druids? Greek?
Vain.
Leather tomes?
Oh.
All of my interests.
Like, Sybil is so, like, it's just like, it would be rude of me to just go through things on his desk, but also, like,
Moments later, after a few minutes, Reverend Stratton comes back out, bearing 3 cups of tea for your group, and he says, "So, what brings you all to Lesser Edale, if I might ask?"
History, looking around the area, interesting rumors. Basically, I'm after anything interesting, really.
Well, Lesser Edale, indeed all of Derbyshire, is very picturesque, a lovely place to, if not live, holiday, walk about the hills. A lovely place to find contemplation and prayer, for certain, yes.
That's what I've heard.
Kind of like looks at you. So if there's anything you may help narrow down, that I might be more inclined to speak of it.
God, Sybil's like, eyes, druid, Darkness, like, I was gonna ask about the Vane family, but also, like, well, I'm actually incredibly curious about the Plum Castle?
Yes,
up
Plum Castle. It is the home of the Vane family. They are been in the region in Derbyshire for several centuries now. Lord Arthur Vane is he actually, if you're not from around here, I can say
No.
he's listed in Burke's Peerage. He's a member of the Council of Lords, although he doesn't get to London very often these days, since the death of his wife, of course. But Plum Castle, it's a fascinating little history that it was one of England's Norman fortresses, originally built by Henry II in 1175, later rebuilt and remodeled in 1587. The castle is one of 20 built around the area at various times between the 11th and 17th centuries. On a clearer day, you can see more of them dotting the surrounding countryside.
I see.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes, quite lovely indeed. Lord Arthur and his 2 children, Lawrence and Eloise, live there with their local servants. But they are rather, I would not go so far as to say insular. Lovely, kind, nice folk. But they have affairs of their own, occasionally come down into the village, but usually it's their servants to shop at the general store. Yes.
So have you met them then?
Oh, yes, I would consider myself a very friendly acquaintance of Lord Arthur. I have known him for several years. I've only been in Lesser Edale, well, I should say the vicar of Lesser Edale for 30 years now, but I've known Lord Arthur for a sizable number of years. I should like to think of us as good friends.
Oh, I see. Well, that's the first. As far as everyone else has told me, they're rather reclusive, so you keep interesting company.
Well, they are. Well, as the village vicar, I definitely see all sorts of individuals around here, largely to offer good counsel, and as I said, as I am a gentleman of some advanced years, I have gotten to know Lord Arthur quite well, and by extension I do occasionally visit Plum Castle for the occasional private sermon, conversation, whatever Lord Arthur deems.
I see.
But yes, Plum Castle, you mentioned. The funny story that some say that the reason it was called Plum Castle was because it was rumored to have been derived from when it fell into the hands of Edward III, liketh a plum, when a rebellious former owner neglected to secure the gate. It's a fun little amusing story, but it could not be further from the truth. The name comes from the Norman French Le Plum, meaning lead, thus Lead Castle. You see, the area was an important source of lead for more than 5 centuries, hence the castle's name, Plum Castle.
Ah, okay, so not quite as fruity, as it were.
No, not quite.
Disappointing.
Well, it is a fun story, but interesting how names and terms alter over the course of the years.
It is.
How are you liking Lesser Edale, you three?
Oh, it's charming in spite of being rather wet at the moment.
Yes, it does have its history, and this time of year does see a fair amount of rainfall, that is for certain. Yes.
See that?
But you'll find it is a lovely, lovely place to spend time. The folklore here is of particular interest. I do a lot of reading. The Vanes maintain a library on their castle. I occasionally get to borrow books, read from folklore. Fascinating stuff.
What's something interesting that you? Sorry, I heard folklore and I pinged a little bit.
Sybil said, I am also incredibly interested.
Sorry, any interesting stories?
Well, there was a local legend, actually, spoke of a large, hound-like creature said to walk the land around Edale. The legends in the folklore recalls the beast was once the working dog of the last squire of the village, which howled for 3 days and nights at the passing of its master. Most folk around here say that if the howling should ever start again, it is an omen of doom. He kind of shuffles a little nervously at that mention.
So no one's heard the mysterious howling since.
I would not go so far to say that. No doubt. Are you keep up with the papers, young miss?
I do. So I am a little bit aware of the going-ons. The miserable business a few months back.
Yes.
So the fact that there's folklore about it is incredibly interesting.
Do you mind if I inquire what your interest specifically is in these stories?
Well, everybody would love to see a real, you hear folklore about a mysterious hound wandering the countryside, any sort of folklore. If you can find proof, well, that would be worth anything.
Yes, I see. Kind of like looks over at Sunil and Kit and says, and you two, what is your stake and interest in all of this? What do you two do? Where do you hail from?
I'm also an American visiting, and no, my daughter here has a particular interest in folklore and the macabre, things like that, so.
But what is it you do? What is your profession, good sir, yes?
I'm a doctor.
Ah, a healer, noble profession. And what of you, young man, looking at Sunil?
I am, sorry, a Londoner, I am.
Yes, I can tell by the accent. But, you get out to the countryside often, or are you mostly a city-dwelling boy?
I've spent most of my time in the city. Not a lot of time to be able to go to the country anytime recently.
And what do you do, good sir?
A researcher by trade.
Men of letters. Men of letters. Looking at Kit and Sunil. Well, understand that I'm more than happy to discuss matters of the village, less so to... I tend to keep a keen eye out for any who might be on the lookout for salacious gossip. And I pointedly says to you, Sybil.
Sybil leans forward with her tea. I may be a purveyor of gossip.
Yes, it's exactly the sort of thing I tend to avoid.
The kind
But
of...
if you happened to have any, I mean, I'm not from around here, so it's not like it would spread anywhere.
I will say, as I vouch for basically my sister at this point, Sybil Cordova. She, as interested as she is in what is the goings on, she tends to have no intention of sharing it with literally anyone. It's for herself. She has her own ideas of what she wants to do with knowledge. Honestly speaking, I would say all three of us are, to a certain extent, just knowledge seekers.
Well, you two, no offense, young lady, but your two male companions here do strike me as the sorts to be more trustworthy with the gruesome details. But if you are vouching for her character, who am I to question your own judgment of your family?
Thank you very much.
Yes, I am aware of the rumors of the Beast of Edale, as it were, and the gruesome murders that took place here some 3 months ago. Poor Mr. Osgood and Miss Parkins. A terrible shame. Their families have bore the burden of their passing the hardest. But they are interred here in the graveyard, and I should hope that they found some peace. But yes, as the local rumor would have it, during the nights of the full moon, you can still hear the shrieking howl of the Beast of Edale from the hills. And yes, some have claimed to have heard it still, even after the matter has been resolved. There have been no further murders. No.
Thank God for that.
I did see it.
I
Briefly.
was about to ask.
I see you spoke with Bill at the horse.
Yes.
Yes.
I only glimpsed it momentarily when I was walking home after visiting one of my parishioners. It was around, I want to say 9 o'clock, and the moon was full, although a heavy mist had risen. As I was opening the front gate, I heard a heavy breathing a few feet away. Looking up, I saw a huge dark shape shrouded in mist. While the form was obscured, its burning red eyes filled me with terror. It let out this blood-curdling cry, and I knew it had seen me. Without thought, I bolted into the house and locked the door, thanking God for my safety. I am thankful to have not seen it since, and, well, with the shooting of the wild dog by the local constable, I believe it has put an end to it.
So you saw it before the,
Yes.
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 When
Yes.
you saw it, would you say that it was the size of a regular dog?
No. It was the size of a man, and then some. A huge dark shape.
I see.
Yes. Well, thank God and his angels for the constable putting an end to it. That should, in time, allow the people of Lesser Edale to rest easy.
Indeed, I would hope so. But are the people of Edale resting easy? Because from what I've heard, others don't seem to consider the matter to be settled.
Yes, individuals do claim to hear the howls at night during the full moon. It is a terrible shame. I just would like for the life of Lesser Edale to return to normal once more. No one wants tragic events raked up and the family should be left to grieve in peace.
Understandable.
With the idea of grieving, sir, would it be out of line for those out of town to, the graves are behind the church, yes?
Yes, the graveyard.
Would it be out of line for those from out of town to pay respects?
Oh, I wouldn't say so at all. You'll just have to deal with old Jed, but he's harmless.
Jed.
The tends the grounds.
Okay.
He works odd hours.
Ha.
And by that I mean he works his own hours, in that
Oh.
he comes and goes as he pleases whenever he feels the grounds need to be tended.
I see.
Yes, but a fine gentleman. If you would like to pay respects, it's not hard to find their gravestones. Most around here are worn considerably down. Theirs are newer, so they should be easy to spot relatively.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else that I might be of help with?
This is more of a personal curiosity, but I couldn't help but notice that you have a particular interest in the languages of antiquities. Greek, I saw, I believe.
Yes, I see that you've noticed my rather sizable amount of hobbyist paperwork straddling my desk. Yes, he gives like a smile. It is one of my hobbies, translating from the ancient Greek to the modern English.
Oh, interesting.
Do you do translation work for the veins, or?
Yeah, no. It's never come up before. If Lord Arthur asked, I'd certainly be willing to help, but like I said, it's a hobby. I find interest in the old antique languages of the Greeks.
Oh, what caught your eye?
I admit I have had a passing interest, and by that I should mean a rather lifelong fascination with the matters of... Give me 1 second to fucking flip my page because it was sticking. I have enjoyed the historical research of pre-Roman Britain, mostly, and I decided, I've looked into some Roman matters before, might as well divert my attentions to the archipelagos of Greece and look at their very fascinating language, which it is. Antique Greek is, I dare say, a beautiful language.
Huh. Have you found any interesting information about this area, pre-Roman, or?
Oh, well, nothing that immediately comes to mind. Might be secret away in an old book. Most of my research is carried around other areas of influence. Lacedia has its own storied history, but those time periods, you understand, are harder to dig up information on.
Yeah.
Well, oh, goodness, dare I say the hour is getting late, and your teacups have all been expended. Allow me to take these into the kitchen, and I think your cloaks have adequately dried. Allow me to see you at least at the doorway, and if no one else has, formally welcome you to Lesser Edale. You'll find Derbyshire to be particularly beautiful once the weather lets up.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Shows you guys out of the vicarage, back out into the rain.
Cool. So I'm imagining we're probably walking towards the
The
graves?
cemetery?
Well, are we going? I was asking, are we going to the cemetery, or are we going to deal with that when it's not fucked up right now? But like, that's my question.
I mean, we can stop by since we mentioned we were gonna maybe take a look and pay our respects.
Stop by. We may as
Yeah.
well. We're already
Okay.
here.
I'm just asking, just making sure.
Yeah. Pop over by the cemetery. A number of gravestones that date back to the 14th century here, many decayed and practically unreadable. There are the new graves of for George Osgood and Lydia Perkins. Interestingly, a small silver crucifix has been hung over the headstones of each.
Ah, I see.
So werewolves.
There is a crash of lightning, like kind of closer overhead, and suddenly there is a man standing behind you in like a heavy, like rain hat and coat, holding an imposingly like sharp and dangerous-looking pair of head shears, and just kind of this older gentleman's dark face, and he just kind of like stands there in the rain, just goes, "Good evening."
Good evening, Jed.
Hello.
Ah, do you folks know about me, but I don't know much about you.
What would you
Well-
like to ask? We will answer, most likely.
Welcome to the graveyard. These kind of matters with weather letting up like this. It's sadly hard to find one's peace in this kind of mountain.
Yeah, it is a little hard to find one's piece here.
Yeah. Kind of just grunts.
Did you put these on the gravestones?
Any semblance of like grumbling, like any mask of good-natured manner immediately falls away in like the dark of the night and like the rain pouring down on the brim of his hat, showing the face of a deeply serious man. Kind of gets like close to you, and says, "Local matters don't concern outsiders. Best be on your way. Storm's getting heavier." Just kind of like looks at you.
You think the weather will let up anytime soon?
Hard today with an downpour like this.
We'll take our leave. And so we're not strangers, and Kit will introduce them all.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
Best be on your way.
Best be on
Yes.
our way.
Yes, sir, we'll do that.
Watches you leave from his place in the graveyard.
I see. So multiple things. Dog's not dead. That man, I'll get to that later. So we should find provisions. We should.
Let's
Yes.
get some rooms.
Yeah, let's do that.
Great.
Hmm.
Yes, for the savvy-eyed viewer out there, I was emulating the grumbling farmer from Hot Fuzz. So, yes, 100%, it is Filch. Okay, great, awesome. You guys make your way through the rain of Lesser Edale to get back to the Laughing Horse Tavern to find drier accommodations for the evening. So, Tarrant. You are standing on the fog-laden dark streets of London, caught in the headlights of an automobile, as three women, one holding a gun now pointed in your direction, has said to you in a thick Arabic accent to get in the car.
Terrence with not too much option, but his heart's still racing, still gripping his pistol, just at his side, to, smart enough not to bring it up and point it at them. It's 3-on-1 at this point. Kind of side glances at him, and asks rather knowingly, "Why should I?"
Because you have no other choice right now.
He reaches back, and puts the pistol in his back pocket, and kind of glances behind him, seeing that there's not really side areas of the alleys are just too far to reach before getting shot. Like there's just no opportunity to run. It's too much of a straight shot. So begrudgingly, he minds their order And slowly walks toward him. Might I ask, who are you people?
None of them respond. They only open the back door of the car for you.
Terrent just kind of shakes his head and reluctantly climbs into the back.
Yeah, as you get to the back door, another one of the three women grabs you before you get in, yanks your hand behind your back, pulls the gun out of your like waistband and throws it next to the body where they shot him dead on the street. Bind your hands behind your back and then throw a burlap sack over your head and then stuff you into the back of the car. And now your world in darkness and tied up, you're thrown into the back seat. You hear the other three women get back into the car. You hear the doors shut and the car very quickly screeches and peels out of the current location with no sight, and disoriented as you are and the adrenaline still racing through your veins. The inertia of the car as it makes turns and makes little stops and occasionally speeds up fully disorients you. You have no idea where you're going right now. And it drives for a while.
As he sits,
go ahead.
As he's sitting in the back of the seat, in I guess mild panic, he's at least able to take stock of the fact that he's not dead. They've chosen to capture him, but must be one of these several factions that seem to be after them, because they shot the other guy dead, so they're obviously not on the same team. Still doesn't make looks like Split has something to say. Go ahead, man.
Now, I'm not one to influence shit, but I have an interesting suggestion, just because I feel like Terrent would be the type to think of this kind of shit.
Go for it.
Maybe ask where Mason is.
Yeah.
You just hear the rev of the automobile engine. There is no conversation happening amongst them, but you're just kind of driving right now.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Terrent takes a muffled breath under the, sack, and tries as, sternly as he can. Where is Mr. Allen?
They only meet you with silence and the roar of the engine.
Where are we going?
We'll find out soon enough. Now shut up.
Not wanting to get his head kicked in like what was about to happen with the big burly thug. Figures it's best not to take his chances with the people that killed that guy. Does as he's told and shuts up.
After a while of driving, the car comes to a stop. It is definitely, by what you can tell, it is somewhere quiet. It is somewhere you can still hear the sounds of the city distant on all sides, but it seems to be maybe like a darker, less inhabited region of London. You hear the car doors open and close. You hear movement outside the car as well, and you hear a thick, gruff male Londoner say, "Where the fuck is Ennis? And what are you doing here?" And one of the women responds,
We're cleaning up after your mess, I assume. We caught the other one. He killed Ennis.
And you hear a thick voice go, "And he better fucking..." And the female voice cuts him off and says, No, not yet.
You know our orders. They can be dealt with later and punished. But for now, we take them to where we are told to take them.
Right then. You got the car. Want me to load in the other one?
Seems like the fastest way. Club's about to close. Would make good time.
Ryan, I'll load him in your trunk. And you hear like the back of the car pop open and a heavy ka-dunk as something is offloaded into the back, and then ka-dunk, the trunk is slammed shut. Got room in there for one more?
No. We were lucky enough to find him when we did, but it took all hands to restrain him.
Hope you give him a fine beating before you take him.
We will do what we were told to do, and enjoy every second of it.
Well, yeah, you better. Or else Gavigan will have your fucking head. You hear movement, and then eventually people get back in the car and drives again. Keep moving for a while before eventually the car stops. And you are pulled forcefully out and moved quickly through like what feels like you kind of like through a doorway. The hour is late, but you don't know exactly what time it is. You're probably somewhere deeper in the city, but it's hard to say. You feel yourself dragged up a set of stairs, pushed down, kind of just moving through like a long hallway and then dragged onward. Eventually you kind of like, you're stopped. You hear something be opened and it feels like you're being pushed down a hole in the floor before you are dragged and placed into a cage. You feel like the iron, you kind of like shoved in, very cramped and stuff, and they rip the hood off of you. Moments later, you are in the what looks like a dark cellar of some building. There are a few cages in here, and you see that they are actually stuffing an unconscious Mason who's got like a trickle of blood going down the side of his head from where he got clocked with the cudgel. They're putting him in another cage, closing it and locking it. There is another figure in here, like off on the far distant corner of the room in another cage, shadowed, huddled into a corner, hugging themselves for like warmth, kind of shivering. And then one of the women like looks down at you. You see there are other men here that you don't recognize from chasing you earlier. Look down at you, and one says, "Now you stay here. Don't cause any trouble. We'll be back for you and your friends later." And they walk out. Mason, it's around this time that you blearily come to. Your head hurts like a motherfucker. Your bell got seriously rung out there. They're just rocketing pain, just radiating from your head down your neck into your torso. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you see that you are in a cage in some dank basement. Tarrant is in an adjacent cage. As you definitely feel concussed. As you slowly and steadily come to.
Mason, as he kind of starts to get his surroundings, he's gonna kind of look around. Is there like an airway or anything in this room?
Nothing that signifies anything related to the air intake pipe you saw at the Penny Foundation. This cellar seems to be naturally ventilated.
Okay. And I'm assuming that I don't have any of my items on me.
Oh yeah, you both have been stripped.
Oh, they stripped me. They gotta do that. Okay.
Say Tarrant whispers over to him, trying not to be loud enough for the rest of the cellmates to hear. Like, "Mr. Allen, you all right?"
No, everything hurts. Oh, they got you too. Shit. I could have done better.
I could have come after you. I'm sorry, Mr. Allen.
There was three of them and one of you. What could have been done? I decided to start spitting fire at them, which, now that I think about it, probably wasn't the best idea.
It was a braver move than the one I took. I ran for my life. I thought that if I found the rest of our friends, maybe, well, perhaps we could save you from this predicament. But here I am.
Who's there?
Right here with you.
A voice carrying from like the dark corner of the other cage as like the figure in there silhouetted in the darkness, kind of like fingers wrap around the bars. Says, "Hello, is someone here with me?"
Yes.
Oh
No.
There's
I'm
like
getting-
there's a
sorry,
stifled
bad
laugh
joke.
when you say no in response.
I'm sorry, bad jokes.
I see they got you too. Who are you?
I'm Mason. This is Tarrant.
Pleasure. Who are you?
You're American and you're not. My name is Ilam. What did you do to get on the bad side of the Brotherhood?
I threw a potato in one of the windows.
You did what?
Well,
Threw a potato.
Which?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't the window potato that got their attention. It was the one that landed in their exhaust.
Told him that.
Which building of the Brotherhood was this?
It was the Pinhue Foundation.
Oh, I see. Then you got directly onto Gavigan's bad side.
I think we were already on his bad side before that happened, though.
What were you
To be
doing
completely
throwing
honest.
potatoes at the Pinhue Foundation?
Is this guy trying to squeeze us out of information right now for...
Oh, make a psychology roll.
Yeah.
100%. This dude is just trying to squeeze you for information.
Fucking knew it.
Mm.
Mason just kind of like sits, groans at the head pain, and he's just like, "Wouldn't you like to know whether boy?" Oh.
Taryn takes notice of Mason's discomfort, his kind of realization that this guy is not 100% prisoner like the rest of us, so he kind of puts up his guard as well. Well,
Hello?
it was very lovely to meet you. I think Mr. Mason needs some rest, and I need some time to think.
What happened out there? How did they catch you?
By catching us? I don't know how else to explain that.
How did you get here, by the way?
You ask the wrong questions, you make a bad deal. Eventually you get on the Brotherhood's bad side. And here we are now, stuck until the right begins.
What kind of deal? What'd you do?
I made a regrettable number of business transactions for extra cash. Wrong place, wrong time.
What do you mean by right?
The rites, they perform rituals, the Brotherhood. Every month, the dark of the moon. Gavigan is their high priest.
No. Mr. Gaffigan is the head of the Pinhue Foundation.
Yes. It is all a front. The work may be legitimate, but Gavigan and the Foundation, they have their roots in the Brotherhood.
Mason kind of is like trying to like listen to him. Can I use that extreme success and
Yeah.
like roll off that?
Yeah.
Is he even a prisoner?
Mm-hmm.
You get the strongest vibe that all this person's intent is to learn information from you. You think this is a front.
Yeah, he comes off like Jafar in the prison with Aladdin, for sure.
Well, here we are. Here you are. Here I am. Here he is. all stuck in metal cages, waiting what I believe to be our deaths. Yeah?
Yes, I'm afraid the Brotherhood sacrifices its prisoners. We have ended up on the wrong side of their will.
Mason's gonna kind of look around. Is there anything within reach outside of the cage that he might be able to use to pick the lock?
Nothing you immediately see.
Okay.
The figure in the corner says, "So what were you doing? Why have the Brotherhood taken notice of you? Why were you poking your head around?"
Well, if we're all doomed, I'd rather keep my secrets to myself, thank you.
There is a long, uncomfortable silence. You just see the shadowy fingers of the figure wrapped around the bars of the cage. Then you hear a long sigh. You're smart.
Thank you.
Slowly pushes the cage door open. And then you hear, shrouded in the darkness,
Cool.
you don't see, but you hear what sounds like the popping of bones and stretching of flesh and uncomfortable sounds. And the voice slowly goes from more of the male register to that of the female. And then the sounds stop. A moment later, a strikingly beautiful Egyptian woman steps out of the cage and stands in the light of the room, and she says, "I like people who are clever. I think we should get better acquainted and help one another." And that is where we're going to end tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. We will be back next week. Same time, same place for the continued adventures of the Disaster Gang. So until next time, my friends, Cthulhu Fatagan.